You came to milk my son, Abi. So this is your plan. You put 18 big chunks of meat for just 2 people in this small pot of stew. Whoa! This girl wants to finish my son's money. Where's that? How many meats do you eat in your father's house, eh? Look at how fat you've become in just a few weeks. Hey! My son's money, oh!
Once upon a time, in the peaceful and laughter-filled village of Odu, there lived a maiden whose beauty could make even the most focused man forget the path to his own compound. Her name was Nkem Dilim, but the villagers fondly called her Nkem because when a person's beauty speaks that loudly, you only need one simple name. When Nkem walked through the village, even the wind slowed down to follow her, as if afraid to lose her sense. Her skin glowed like palm oil under the morning sun, and her laughter rolled through the markets like sweet music from a distant flute. But beauty alone does not win hearts, besties. What made the villagers truly love her was her heart, soft like freshly pounded yam and warm like the river of Odu when the weather was cold. Nkem was the first daughter of Mama Nkem, a widow with the strength of 10 women and the hands of a master cook. She was famous for her akara, golden, round, and so delicious that even the gods begged for a bite. Every morning, before the first cock crowed, mother and daughter would rise. The world would still be wrapped in sleep, and the stars would blink lazily in the sky as they prepared for the day. By the roadside in the village market, fire would crackle and oil would sizzle. And soon, the air would fill with that sweet, teasing aroma that made the whole village sigh. Ah, besties, the aroma of Mama Nkem's akara alone could wake the dead from their rest. Villagers passing by would sniff the air like hunters following a trail. Mama Nkem, your akara dey call person no, they would shout, clutching their noses like the smell wanted to drag them closer by force. Now, let's be honest. Mama Nkem was not the only akara seller in Odu. There were others, of course, like Ego, Ngozi, and Mama Chijuki, who always overfried theirs till it looked like burnt offerings. But none of them could compete with Mama Nkem's. Her akara tasted like it was specially fried in heaven by angels. Some even swore she had a secret ingredient from the gods. Each bite was soft inside, crispy outside, and sweet enough to make you forget your troubles. By sunrise, people gathered by their roadside corner at the market. Some came for the akara, but many others came for the sight of Nkem, the radiant maiden with a gentle smile. She would stand beside her mother wrapping akara in green leaves, greeting everyone with such kindness that even the grumpiest faces softened. Her beauty sold more than the akara itself. Men who came for 5 naira akara would suddenly buy 50. Some would even let go of their change just to hear her say, "Thank you, please come again." She was that kind of woman every man wanted, and that kind of daughter every woman prayed for. They were not rich, no, but their hearts were rich in peace and laughter. Mama Nkem worked hard, and Nkem walked beside her, never complaining, never frowning. Even when the smoke from the frying pan entered her eyes, she would laugh and say, "If this smoke keeps chasing me, one day I will marry it." and the villagers would laugh till tears filled their eyes. Truly, she was the joy of Odu. Her beauty drew eyes, but her humility held them. Though her hands smelled of palm oil, they were blessed hands, hands that helped, hands that comforted, hands that gave. Every woman had something to say about her. From sunrise till the last basket of pepper was packed away, her name rolled around the market like gossip wrapped in banana leaves. Have you seen Mama Nkem's daughter lately? One would begin, fanning herself dramatically. That girl is beauty and manners mixed together. Always cheerful, always respectful, not like these village maidens that just paint their faces and parade about like pregnant hens. Another would clap her hands for emphasis. You are right. Nkem is wife material plus 20 extra wrappers for backup. Even the elders joined the choir. They would sit under the udala tree, their bellies full of palm wine, and say wisely, if all maidens in Odu were like Nkemdili, even our goats would stop fighting. And honestly, who could blame them? That girl was special. She was different, painfully different. While other maidens were busy chasing moonlight dances, gossiping about who wore whose wrapper, or applying charcoal as eyebrow pencil, Nkemdili was helping her mother fry akara with a smile that could heal a broken heart. Her beauty was quiet, her charm gentle, the kind that made even jealous people sigh before realizing they were supposed to be angry. Every evening, after selling all their akara, Nkemdili would help her mother wash the pots and plates. The smoke would rise lazily into the sky, while she hummed songs so sweet that even crickets paused to listen. Mama Nkem would watch her daughter with a kind of pride that made her chest rise like puff-puff in hot oil. My daughter, she would say, one day, your good heart will open doors that even beauty cannot. And Nkemdili, with soap in her hands and bubbles on her face, would laugh. Mama, I don't need any doors to open. I just want you to be happy. You've done so much for us already. When Mama Nkem heard those words, her eyes would water. She would raise her hand to the sky and whisper, God, if this child ever cries, I will hold you responsible. One bright morning, the old market was alive like a talking drum. Voices rose and fell. Come and buy yo. No be that price oh. Shift joy, you dey block my pepper. Palm oil shone in bottles like captured sunsets. Goats bleated, babies cried, and flies buzzed about, holding their own noisy meeting on the fish table. The women were already busy frying, pounding, gossiping, and quarreling. Because in Odu, the market was the only parliament that sat every day. Mama Nkem's corner smelled like happiness itself. Her akara sizzled inside the pan, golden and proud, singing that sweet pshh sound that makes even the strong-willed weak. And there beside her stood Nkemdili, her daughter, her pride, her joy, wrapping akara with a smile so soft that it could melt a chief's anger and make stingy men buy extra. Then, that afternoon, something unexpected happened. A stranger walked into the market. He was tall, handsome, and clean like rain after Harmattan. His name was Lota, a young man from the next village who lived in the city. He had come home to rest from all the city wahala that had nearly turned his head to smoke. Lota loved akara more than peace itself. In the city, he had tried to fry his own once. The akara came out looking burnt like Amadio has wrought. Since then, he swore never to try again. So, on this peaceful day, he came searching for the legendary Mama Nkem's akara, which everyone talked about. But my people, what Lota found that day was not just akara. As he approached the stall, his eyes met Nkemdili, and wham, time stopped. She was laughing softly as she attended to a customer, her skin glowing like palm oil in sunlight, her smile bright enough to cure heartbreak. Lotta's mouth opened slightly. "What kind of beauty is this?" he whispered, as if afraid the wind might carry his secret. For a moment, the whole world became slow. He forgot his cravings. He forgot his name. He almost even forgot to breathe. His heart started jumping like a goat tied with a short rope. He joined the queue, but he could not stop staring. Every time Nkem smiled, his knees weakened like wet fufu. By the time it got to his turn, he was still lost in her face until her sweet voice pulled him back to earth. "Good afternoon, sir," she said shyly, her voice soft like honey dripping from a comb. "How many akara do you want?" Lotta blinked twice. Sorry, just give me plenty." Mama Kem looked up amused. "Young man, how plenty is plenty?" He scratched his head helplessly. "Maybe 200 naira or make it 500. The market burst into laughter, but Lotta didn't care. His eyes were glued to Nkemdili like gum. As she wrapped the akara neatly, he watched her every move. When she handed it to him, their fingers brushed slightly. His heart flipped like a pancake in hot oil. He paid, turned to go, but his legs refused to move. Something in him said, "Stay, fool. Stay and look at her again." He turned back quickly. "Please, can I get water too?" Nkem smiled again, that same heart-melting smile. "We don't sell water here, sir." Lotta grinned sheepishly. "Then, give me another akara." And that, my friends, was how it began. The foolish, funny, unforgettable market romance that soon became the sweetest gossip in the whole of Odu village. Every single day, Lotta found one excuse or another to return to the market. He would tell himself that he only came to buy extra akara, but deep inside, he knew the truth. The akara was not his problem. His real problem had two eyes, one dimple, and a smile that could scatter a man's peace. He loved akara, yes, but more than anything, he loved seeing Nkem, loved hearing her laughter roll through the air like sweet music, and loved the way her soft, velvety voice wrapped around his heart. Sometimes, when the crowd at Mama Nkem's stall became too much, Lotta would step in to help. The first day he offered, Nkem almost dropped the spoon from shock. A fine man like him, a man who looked like he ironed his soul before leaving home, smelling like money and palm oil mixed together. How could he stoop so low to sell akara? She refused politely, but Lotta only smiled. "Please, let me help," he said, with a calmness that disarmed her. And what could she do? He had already started helping. Soon, Nkem found herself enjoying his company. He was even funny in the most unexpected ways, able to turn even the smallest mistake into a joke that made her laugh until tears filled her eyes. But trust the villagers. Nothing escaped their eyes or ears. The market women, whose tongues were faster than their fingers, noticed everything. I see Amu," one would whisper, pretending to count her money. "That fine boy returns every single day." Another would lean closer. "How can a handsome man like that leave his house every day to come and sell akara? Please, someone should tell me what is going on here." A third woman would clap her hand and laugh. Na love we dey watch so, my sister. Make we sit and see how the drama ends. And like that, laughter would spread around the market like wildfire. Even the flies seemed to buzz differently whenever Luther appeared. Sometimes, the gossip would fly into his ears like a stubborn mosquito. But he didn't mind. He knew what he wanted, and he was not about to stop. But Nkem's heart was no longer resting easily. She liked Luther, yes, but she didn't understand his intentions. Was he truly coming there for her, or was she only another village adventure for a city man? One evening, as they packed up, she turned to her mother and whispered, "Mama, people are talking. Do you think it's a good idea for Luther to continue coming here?" Mama Nkem's lips curved into a knowing smile. She was no fool. She had seen the way Luther looked at her daughter, and she had seen the way her daughter pretended not to notice. "My daughter," she said softly, "let them talk. It's better for people to talk about good things than evil." And that was that. Days turned to weeks, and Luther's presence became part of the market's rhythm, like the sound of a pestle pounding yam or the crowing of the rooster. If he didn't show up, the market felt strangely incomplete. Even Nkem, though she pretended not to care, would find her eyes drifting towards the road again and again, hoping to just catch sight of him. And whenever he appeared, with that white smile and teasing grin, the whole market seemed to light up. He made her laugh until her sides hurt, until her worries melted like butter under the sun. Their friendship grew like yam tendrils on a rainy day. After market, they soon began walking home together. Mama Nkem was wise. Every evening, she would hand Nkem a basket of vegetables and say with an innocent face, "Go ahead and prepare dinner, my daughter. I will stay behind and clean up." But deep down, she knew exactly what she was doing. The woman had wisdom sharper than pepper. She wanted them to talk, to laugh, to get to know each other without her shadow following behind. And as they walked, Nkem with her shy smile and Luther with his restless heart, they talked about everything: the stars, the city, and dreams that lived far beyond Odo. He told her about tall buildings that touched the clouds, street lights that never slept, and cars that could run faster than a frightened goat. Nkem daily listened with wide eyes, her wonder so pure that even the wind paused to hear. Sometimes he would surprise her with small gifts, like a new scarf, new slippers, or even a little comb. She would blush deeply as she accepted them, her heart fluttering like a trapped butterfly. And it wasn't long before Luther realized the truth. The hunger burning in his chest was not for Akara anymore. It was love, sweet, confusing, and unstoppable love. One calm evening, as the sun melted behind the palm trees and painted the sky with gold and orange, Luther walked Nkem home as usual. But that day felt different. The air itself was heavy with something unsaid. As they reached the entrance of her compound, he stopped. He just stood there staring at her with eyes so soft that even Nkem grew shy. "What's that look for?" she asked, laughing quietly, her voice as gentle as evening breeze. Luther took a deep breath, then reached for her hand. His palm was warm and steady. "You're beautiful," he said. Nkem smiled shyly, but before she could speak, he continued, "I don't know how to say this without sounding foolish, but let me be straight. I want to marry you, Nkem. Her heart jumped like a startled lizard. For a moment, she didn't know whether to laugh, cry, or run inside. Marry me, she gasped. But we just barely got to know each other, and besides, look at you. We are worlds apart. You are rich and you live in the city. I'm just a nobody, an akara seller. Lota smiled and held her hands again, his voice calm but firm. It's not what a person sells that matter. It's what they carry inside their hearts. And yours, Nkem, is pure gold. Those words melted something deep inside her. Her eyes filled with tears she didn't even understand. In all the time they had spent together, she had slowly, quietly fallen in love too. She had dreamt of marriage before, yes, but never to a city man like Luther. Maybe a rich farmer, maybe a successful palm wine tapper. That was what life in Odu offered. But love, real love, doesn't ask for permission. It just arrives softly, like the evening wind that enters through the window without knocking. That night, Nkem Dilim couldn't sleep. She lay on her bamboo mat, smiling into the darkness, her heart dancing like a drum. Mama Nkem, who never missed anything, noticed. "Why are you smiling like roasted corn in the fire?" she asked, squinting in the dim lantern light. Mama Nkem said shyly, covering her face with wrapper. "Someone said he wants to marry me." Mama Nkem sat up instantly. "Ah, who?" "The man that buys akara every day," Nkem said. Mama Nkem burst into laughter so loud that even the sleeping chickens flapped their wings. Tears rolled down her cheeks as she laughed. "Oh, my daughter," she said at last, wiping her tears. "This is what I've been praying for. You deserve someone who sees your worth." Even though Nkem hadn't said yes, Lota decided to make his feelings known to all of Odu. He began arriving at the market with baskets full of gifts, beads, fruits, fabrics, and things that made the women's mouths open in wonder. "I am an intentional man, Nkem," he would say with that teasing smile. "I will make you happy, truly happy. I want you to know that." Nkem would blush and smile, shaking her head, as he helped her serve customers like he was born for it. The market women, of course, didn't miss a thing. They began their daily meeting of sharp tongues. "Have you seen that fine boy today?" one would ask, pretending to fan herself. "Yes, so," another would reply. "He came early again, and with plenty of gifts. That man is rich." Now, is he not Onoja's son? He is very rich. I heard he's doing very well in the city." A fourth would hiss dramatically, "That girl has used love potion on him. I'm telling you, there are fine girls in the city. Why is he here every day selling akara?" "I beg, leave that matter," another would cut in. "It's not love potion. Nkem is beautiful and kind. Her heart alone can trap any man. If I were a man, I wouldn't hesitate to marry her." And so they would argue and analyze, their words flying faster than mosquitoes, until the sun went down and darkness came to dismiss their meeting. But none of the talk stopped Luther. Every day he still came. A visit to the village that was meant to last for 1 month quietly stretched into another. Before long, the villagers gave him a name, the Akara Prince. The city man who left big roads and shiny cars just to fry and sell akara in Odu markets because of a maiden. But Lota didn't care about whatever they called him. He had found something the city had never given him: peace, laughter, and love. Mama Nkem watched their closeness with secret joy. Sometimes she would tease her daughter, saying, "Ah, Nkem Dile, Since this young man came, your akara now sells faster and your face is shining bright. Maybe I should find one fine boy for myself too. Mama Nkem would squeal, covering her face as her laughter filled the market. But deep inside her, she knew the truth. She was falling softly, sweetly, and completely. One quiet evening, the sun had turned orange and the air smelled sweet with roasted corn. Lota came to the market again, but something was different. He wasn't smiling as usual. His laughter was missing. His heart, however, was beating faster than a village drum during festival season. He helped Mama Nkem and Nkem Dilim close the stall as always, arranging the trays, covering the bowls, sweeping the crumbs away. Then he looked at Mama Nkem with serious eyes and said, "Mama Nkem, I want to talk to you." Mama Nkem's eyebrows rose slightly. "Talk, my son. What is it?" They stepped aside away from the busy noise of the evening. The wind danced gently between them. Lota took a deep breath and said, "Mama, I love your daughter and I want to marry her." Mama Nkem blinked once, twice, and then widened her eyes dramatically, pretending to be shocked. "Marry her?" she repeated, like she couldn't believe her ears. "Yes, Mama," he said firmly. "I've never met a woman like her. She's kind, she's pure, and she makes me so happy. I don't care about what anyone says. I want her because she gives me peace." For a moment, silence stretched between them. Only the crickets dared to speak. Then Mama Nkem's lips slowly curved into a smile. You know that proud motherly smile that appears when all your years of struggle finally turn into something sweet. "My son," she said softly, her eyes glistening, "I have nothing to give you except my blessings. If your heart truly means it, then I say yes." That night, when Nkem Dili heard it, she almost dropped her plate. "Mama, you said yes for me," she cried, her voice shaking between laughter and tears. Mama Nkem laughed heartily, wiping her hands on her wrapper. "What else should I say? Should I say no and block your destiny? You clearly love him, Nkem, and he's a good man. I'm happy for you, my daughter." They hugged tightly, mother and child, both shedding tears of joy. The room felt warm, filled with love and the smell of hope. But my people, before the cock crowed the next morning, all the village had already heard the news. It spread faster than palm oil in hot soup. Some clapped their hands with happiness, shouting, "Ewo, the Akara Prince has finally spoken." Some hissed sharply, their lips twisted like bitter leaves. And others whispered with wicked delight, "Let's see if that proud city mother of his will agree. That woman who calls everyone poor and walks around the village as if she owns everywhere. Let's see how this love story will unfold." And besties, the villagers were right. If love is a gentle rain, then Onoja, Lota's mother, was a thunder that followed it. Loud, dramatic, and ready to scatter everything in its path. When she first heard that her precious son wanted to marry a poor Akara seller from Odu village, her eyes almost jumped out of their sockets. "What?" she screamed, throwing down her wrapper like a warrior about to go to battle. "Lota, are you mad? Did I suffer? Wait, did I break my back and send you to the city only for you to come back and marry an Akara seller? An Akara seller, Lota? Ewo! Chimo! Who did I offend in this life?" She began pacing the sitting room like a soldier, preparing for war, her hands on her waist, her face red with anger. Wait. So let me get this straight, Lota," she shouted, glaring at him. You left all the daughters of the chiefs in this village, the princesses, the educated one in the city, women from wealthy homes, with hair like silk and perfumes that can wake the dead. So, out of all the women in this world, it is a girl that smells of frying oil that caught your eye. Are you suffering from low self-esteem or what, Lota? She clutched her chest dramatically. So the rumors were true. My son was selling akara in the market. I'm ashamed of you. I'm ashamed of you, Lota. Lota tried to speak. Mama, it's not like that. Delay is not. Keep quiet. Onoja snapped, pointing at him like he was a schoolboy. You don't know what you are saying. What do you know about poor women? They are all opportunists. Poor people are gold diggers. They will use sweet words to drain your pockets and a very stupid innocent face. By the time she starts asking for wigs, perfumes and handbags, you will know what you've done to yourself. Lota sighed deeply. Mama, I love her and have made enough money to take care of her. I don't know what the issue is here. Love? Onoja hissed so loudly that even the wall gecko on the wall jumped. Just look at you. What do you know about love? You better stop being foolish and throw that rubbish infatuation out of your mind. Your love cannot be for a poor, dirty akara seller. Try someone else. Try someone else, you hear me? And for your information, you will never marry that girl. With that, she stormed out of the house, tying her wrapper tightly and shouting curses as she went. Sofiawa, evil will not see my house. But love, my friends, is a stubborn thing. Lota refused to listen. His heart was already tied to Nkem like wrapper to the waist. He had made up his mind and no thunder from his mother could change it. Days passed. Weeks rolled by. He tried talking to her again, begging, pleading, explaining. But Onoja's heart was harder than dry fufu. She shut her ears, folded her arms and declared, I don't want to hear about that girl again. So Lota did the only thing left to do. He decided to go ahead with the marriage, with or without his mother's blessing. When Onoja heard it, she screamed so loud that even birds flew off the trees. My enemies have succeeded. My only son wants to disgrace me in front of the whole village. She began to cry and roll on the floor as people rushed in. Madam Onoja, please take heart, they said. Take heart, he wailed. How can I take heart when my son is being snatched by a market girl with smoke in her hair? An ordinary akara seller! Bano, God forbid! But no matter how she shouted, roared, cried or called on her ancestors, Lota's decision stood firm. He loved Nkem Dilim with all his heart, and even if the gods themselves blocked the road, he was ready to break it open just to reach her. When Onoja saw that her tears were useless and her words had become empty dust in the air, she finally fell silent. She didn't bless them, but she didn't curse them either. She simply sighed and said quietly, if you want to disgrace yourself, go ahead, but don't say I didn't warn you. And though she looked away, her heart broke quietly inside her chest. Finally, the long-awaited day arrived. The day the gods themselves must have marked in their calendar. The marriage of Nkem Dile, the Akara Queen of Odu, to her city prince. The whole village of Odu exploded with joy. Drums beat wildly, their rhythms tumbling through the air like rain on zinc roofs. Flutes sang sweetly, weaving through the sound of laughter and ululations. The delicious aroma of jollof rice and fried meat floated across the roads, bold enough to make even strangers hungry. From the village square down to the bride's compound, there was nothing but dancing feet and cheerful noises. Even the market women closed early that day. They came with baskets, plates, wrappers and big smiles, all gifts for their beloved Nkem. She deserves it, they said proudly. Good hearts never hides. It always finds reward. Mama Nkem was the picture of joy. Her eyes shone with tears she refused to wipe, and her face glowed brighter than her daughter's coral beads. She couldn't stop smiling. Her daughter looked like a true princess wrapped in colorful wrappers, so radiant that they could blind jealousy itself. But not everyone came to rejoice. In one quiet corner of the compound sat Onoja, Lota's mother, arms folded, lips pressed tight, and face twisted like bitter leaf soup. She did not smile. She did not dance. She did not even blink. The way she looked at Nkem Deli, if eyes could kill, Odu would have held 2 burials that same day. See her, Onoja muttered to the woman sitting beside her, her voice sharp as pepper, dancing as if she has conquered the world. She doesn't know who I am yet. I know girls like her. Let her dance now. She would soon dance inside tears. The woman beside her nodded faintly and quickly looked away. Everybody knew Madame Onoja was trouble, beautifully wrapped in fine lace. Meanwhile, Lota himself was glowing with happiness. His joy lit the compound brighter than daylight. He didn't care about whispers or angry faces. All he saw was his bride. When he took Nkemdele's hand during the ceremony, he whispered softly, "Don't worry, my love. I will love and protect you, and I will make you the envy of every woman. I will nurture your beauty and make you glow." Nkemdele blushed, her smile shy and tender. Lota laughed softly in return, and together they swayed to the music, the drums rolling like thunder of celebration. But many times, when a man says, "Don't worry," the gods are often already writing, "Start praying." And just like that, after all the laughter, dancing and promises, the ceremony ended. And when the sun finally set over Odu, Lota took his beautiful bride to the city. Ah, besties, you should have seen them. Their love was like a match struck by the gods themselves, bright, sweet and blindingly beautiful. Lota loved Nkemdele so much that he spoiled her silly with gifts and laughter. He promised to show her around the city during their honeymoon, and oh, he kept that promise. They went to beaches, running and chasing each other on the wet sand like 2 carefree children. They visited the cinemas and Nkem could hardly blink. The screen was so big that she thought the actors might step out and join them. Lota took her to restaurants with shining plates and air that smelled of money. He bought her perfumes that spoke French, shoes that sparkled like city lights, and clothes so fine that they made her look like the daughter of a goddess. In a short time, Nkemdele was glowing like the moon after rain. Her laughter filled their small apartment, and love sweetened their days like honey dripping from a comb. For a while, life was perfect, too perfect, until one evening. They were watching a movie, laughing and feeding each other popcorn, when suddenly they heard a knock. The sound came sharp and stubborn, like the hand of a spirit that refused to leave. "Who is that?" Lota asked, pausing the movie. "I'm not expecting any visitor." "Maybe the neighbors," Nkem said, still smiling. But when he opened the door, wham! You won't believe who stood there. The thunder herself, Madame Onoja, the mother with the big eyes and the bigger temper. "Good evening, my son," she said sweetly, too sweetly. Her voice dripped with sugar and pepper mixed together. Behind her stood 2 giant Ghana must-go bags, looking like they had swallowed the entire village before arriving. Lota blinked. "Mama, What are you doing here, and what's with all these bags? Are you not happy to see me? She asked, brushing invincible dust from her wrapper. I came to visit my son and his wife. I missed you people. I even brought small things for the house. But the way she said the small things, even the wall clock trembled and began ticking faster. Nkemdele's smile vanished. She had heard them from inside. Lotta stood there, his mouth hung open. And that, besties, was how Trouble entered through the front door with bags, pride and holy water. As Madame Onoja made herself comfortable in the sitting room, crossing her legs like a queen on the throne, Nkem quietly dragged Lotta into their bedroom. She shut the door behind them, her heart racing. Lotta, please, she whispered. We can't allow Mama to stay. She has to return to the village, please. Lotta looked at her helplessly and held her hand. His face was soft, his eyes torn between love and duty. Look, Nkem, he said gently. No matter what, she's still my mother. I can't just send her away like that. She just needs to calm down. Nkem shook her head, tears threatening to fall. No one does this, Lotta. We've barely even bonded as husband and wife. We are still in our honeymoon phase. And she's here with 2 heavy Ghana must-go bags. I don't think she has plans of ever leaving. You know she doesn't like me. I'm sure she came here to make my life miserable. Please, Lotta, you need to do something. Go talk to her. Lotta sighed deeply. Alright, he said at last. I will talk to her. Let's allow her stay for this week. I mean, the rest of this week, then she will return to the village. You two could use those days to bond. I want her to see what I see in you, that you are not the person she thinks you are. Is that okay? Nkem nodded slowly, though her heart said otherwise. By the time Nkemdele and her husband returned to the living room with a polite smile to say, "Welcome, Mama," the damage had already started. Onoja was everywhere, moving about the house, like a hurricane with high heels. Her eyes scanned the room as if she was searching for hidden secrets, her nose turning and flaring like a detective's dog that just caught a strange scent. Nice place, she said slowly, her voice crawling with sugar and suspicion. Then her eyes landed on the chair. But this chair, did you buy it yourself, Nkem? Or she convinced you? Because it wasn't here the last time I came. Lotta chuckled awkwardly. Mama, we bought it together. Onoja folded her arms. Okay, oh, she said, the kind of okay that means this matter will not end. Without waiting for another word, she opened one of her giant bags and began unpacking like a woman who planned to stay till Christmas. Pepper, ground crayfish, anointing oil, and a small kettle for holy water. She lined them up neatly on the table like trophies of war. Then she turned to Nkemdele with a smile that could deceive angels. My daughter, I hope you don't mind though. I will just stay small time, maybe 2 weeks or 3. You know, it's good for mothers to bond with their daughter-in-law. We didn't get to know each other before the marriage. Even though the villagers speak of you, I need to get to know you myself. 2 or 3 weeks. Nkem's smile froze like cold pap. She looked at her husband for rescue, but he only smiled helplessly. Of course, Mama, she said softly. You're welcome. But inside her heart, a quiet voice echoed. Hey, I am in for it. And truly, Mama Onoja had not come for peace.
Because from the next morning, Peace packed its bag and left the house. Nkemdele woke up early as she always did to make breakfast for her husband. He had an early meeting and she wanted everything to be perfect. The stew was boiling, the aroma of fried tomatoes and pepper filled the kitchen, and she hummed softly as she stirred. Then came the sound, tap, 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 footsteps. She turned, smiling. Lotta, you're up already, but lo and behold, it was Onoja. The face that appeared in the doorway could curdle milk, hard, expressionless, the kind of face that made even the soup on fire reduce its bubbles. "Good morning, Mama," Nkem greeted gently. Onoja looked up and down, then walked past with a hiss sharp enough to slice yam. Before Nkem could say another word, she was already at the pot. What are you cooking there? Let me see. Hope you're not wasting my son's money." She lifted the pot lid and bent over it like an inspector general of stew, peering deep inside. Then, she began counting the meats one by one with the seriousness of an accountant auditing a national treasury. 1, 2, 3, 7, 15, 18. "Hey! I am finished," she cried, slapping her chest. "I said it. Gold digger, you came to milk my son, Abi. So this is your plan. You put 18 big chunks of meat for just 2 people in this small pot of stew. Whoa! This girl wants to finish my son's money. Where's that? How many meats do you eat in your father's house, eh? Look at how fat you've become in just a few weeks. Hey! My son's money, oh!" By this time, she had both hands on her head, spinning like a masquerade in full performance. Nkem just stood there, her mouth open, her eyes wide, too shocked to breathe. Before she could even recover, Onoja grabbed a bowl, marched to the pot, and began removing meat, as if she was rescuing her son's future from danger. "Mba, I won't let you finish my son's money. Mba, no. Who does that? You will have to kill me first." Nkem said nothing. She simply watched, her heart pounding. She told herself she would endure. Luther had said it would be just for the weekend. She would be patient. She would hold her peace. But besties, peace no longer had a place in Luther's house, because Onoja was just getting started. The next morning, Luther had left early to meet a business associate. The house was quiet, the sun calm, and Nkem sat at the dining table peacefully sipping her tea. She had barely taken 2 bites of bread when Onoja strutted in, chest high, face squeezed, walking like an overfed broiler returning from the king's feast. She didn't even hear Nkem's greeting. Her mind was already boiling with trouble. "Wonders shall never end," she shouted, placing her hands on her hips. "Hey, lekwa! Akara girl now takes tea with bread. Hey! And even fried eggs too. Wonders shall never end. Who brought a dog to the city?" She marched closer like a judge approaching the witness stand and bent over the table. Her eyes fell on the cup of tea. She blinked twice, hissed, then picked a spoon and stirred it dramatically. "Mama, I'm eating. Shut up." "Hey! Hey! Hey!" she screamed. "Too much milk. Who drinks milk like that? Do you think money grows on trees?" She clutched her chest and burst into dramatic tears. "I don't even blame you. I blame my son. If only he had listened to me, he wouldn't be suffering like this today." Nkem tried to speak gently again. "But Mama, I only took 2 spoons of milk. I said shut up, that's your smelly mouth," Onoja snapped, pointing at her nose. 2 whole spoons of milk. I'm sure you loaded it to the brim. Look at how thick your tea is. It looks like condensed milk for rich people. You see all your evil plans. It will not work. It will not work, not when I'm alive. That is why I am here." Tears filled Nkem's eyes. "What have I done, Mama? Why do you hate me so much?" Onoja folded her arms, laughing coldly. "Why are you acting as if you don't know? What have you done? You married my son. That is what you have done. If you want peace, pack your things and go back to the village. Because this marriage," she pointed towards the ceiling dramatically, "it will not work. I won't allow a gold digger to destroy my son. A woman who cooks a small pot of soup with 1 big full cow and takes tea with milk enough for 10 people. Mbano. Even the gods won't support this foolishness and wastefulness now." With that, she turned sharply, lifted her wrapper and stormed off, muttering ancient proverbs of war under her breath. Nkem sat there quietly, tears rolling down her cheeks, as she stared at the cup before her. Her tea had gone ice cold. Her breath felt like sand in her mouth. The appetite that had come with joy had packed up and left its peace. Still, she said nothing. It was just a matter of days, she told herself. A few more sunrises and Onoja would return to the village. She only had to endure. But to be honest, besties, this was no longer funny. Onoja behaved like an advanced witch. I mean, the Pro Max level. Everything Nkem did was wrong. Cook. Onoja would complain. Too much salt. Too much pepper. This is not stew. This is punishment. Greet her. She wouldn't answer. But later, she would report to Lota, accusing Nkem of never greeting her at all. And the way she paraded the house. Hey! You would think she was a landlady collecting rent. She had no boundaries. She inspected every corner like an investigative journalist, opening drawers, pots, adjusting curtains, tapping chairs to see if they were real wood. Nkem was fed up. She counted the days, prayed for strength and dreamed of peace. But just when she thought she had seen it all, just when Nkem thought peace couldn't get any smaller, Onoja began her midnight prayers. And by prayers, I do not mean gentle, whispery prayers, oh no. These were warfare prayers, the kind that could wake ancestors. Every night at exactly 2 a.m., the whole house will catch fire. Every witch living in this house, Holy Ghost, fire. Any Akara spirit using village oil to control my son, catch fire, catch fire, catch fire. Her voice thundered through the walls like a revival crusade. She would march from room to room, stomping her feet and sprinkling holy water as if she was baptizing the furniture. Sometimes, she would even enter Lota's room and lay hands on their head while they slept. Lota would turn to his wife, whispering weakly, "It's just 2 days remaining. Please, my love, I will talk to her." But when the same drama repeated itself the next night, Nkem Dili could no longer bear it. "Lota, what's going on?" she burst out. "Why can't you stand up to your mother? Are you waiting for me to talk so people will say I insulted her? This is getting out of hand. Since she came here, I can't cook in peace. I can't eat without being cursed at. I can't even sleep. Please, I can't bear one more day with her. She calls me a witch and prays for me to die. It's either you tell her to stop or she leaves tomorrow." Before Lota could even reply, a loud voice exploded from the doorway. "Hey, I am not going anywhere." Onoja stormed in like thunder wrapped in a wrapper. They hadn't realized she had been eavesdropping from the corridor. "You want to send me away so that you can kill my son," she shouted, pointing a trembling finger at Nkem. "I told you, Lotanwam. I told you. A woman you picked from the gutters wants to destroy our relationship. Our mother and son bond. Does she even know what I went through for you?" "Mama, please stop," Lota said, trying to stay calm. "I was talking to my wife. You shouldn't interfere when..." "Ewo!" Onoja screamed, clutching her chest dramatically. "Chineke me. Chineke me, alo, abomination. This is how you now talk to me, Okwaya. This is how you now talk to your mother." She burst into loud shaky sobs. "After all I suffered for you, everyone left me. I was abandoned. I was alone. Hey, but I carried you. My enemies have won. My enemies have won." Lota rubbed his forehead, defeated. He had never been so confused in his entire life. Finally, he stood up and hugged her. "It's okay, Mama. I'm so sorry." She cried harder on his shoulder, her wails echoing through the house like sirens. But, my besties, what she did next, even the gods did not see it coming. After she stopped crying and Lota released her, Onoja climbed on the bed and lay in the middle. Nkem jumped back in shock. "Mama, what is it?" "I had a nightmare, Onoja said, lying comfortably. A witch was pressing me in that room. I can't sleep there. I won't allow you kill me. I would rather stay here and watch you. Then she turned her head slowly, her eyes meeting hers. Good night, she said, smiling wickedly. Nkem stared at her husband, silently begging him to speak. But Luther just stood there, frozen, looking helplessly from his mother to his wife. That night, Nkem picked up her pillow quietly and walked to the visitor's room. She heard Luther calling her, but she ignored him. As soon as she entered, she locked the door, sank to the floor and cried. She cried until her chest ached. What hurt her the most wasn't even Onoja's drama. It was that Luther, the man who had promised to love and protect her, couldn't even find the courage to defend her against his mother. She heard his soft knocks at the door, but she didn't answer. That night, all she wanted was to be alone. The week finally crawled to its end. For Nkem, it had felt like 10 years. 10 endless years filled with insults, sleepless nights and silent tears. That evening, after dinner, Luther sat across from his mother, his heart pounding, but he knew he had to speak. Mama, he began gently. Please don't misunderstand me. You've stayed almost a week now and I'm so grateful, but I think it's time for you to go back to the village. Onoja froze mid-sip of water. Slowly, she placed the cup down. Go back to where? The village, she repeated, her voice calm, too calm. Yes, Mama, Luther said carefully. You see, we haven't really had time to bond as couple. I want Nkem and I to build our home together, But before he could finish, Onoja suddenly burst into loud dramatic tears. Jesu, Chimo, my enemies have succeeded. She wailed, beating her chest. She wants to chase me away from my own son's house. The house that I prayed and suffered for, Luther. Luther, you are sending me away. Mama, that's not what I meant. Keep quiet, she shouted through her sobs. Don't you dare explain. I know this handwriting. Hey, it is the work of that witch, that Akara seller. She has turned you against me. Oh God. So this is how ungrateful children can be. This is how children repay their mothers after all her sufferings. Her wailing filled the room like thunder. She cried, she rolled, she clutched the wrapper dramatically. I carried you in this womb for 9 months. Walked barefoot to feed you, starved so you could eat. I suffered to raise money so you could go to the city and learn a trade, and now this. You are driving me out because of a woman who wasn't even born when I was suffering for you. Luther rubbed his forehead, torn between love and exhaustion. Mama, please stop talking like that. Nobody is chasing you. I just want you to rest back home and let us rest here, she screamed, in that lonely house, where my shadow is my only companion. You want me to go back there and die of loneliness while you enjoy your wife's soft hand and city comfort? Chai, I am finished. She burst into another round of fresh tears, her voice shaking like a broken drum. Luther's heart melted. Mama, it's okay. Please stop crying, he whispered, moving closer. He wrapped his arms around her, patting her back gently. Don't talk like that. You know I love you. You are my mother. Onoja sniffed, still sobbing softly. If you truly love me, you wouldn't let her send me away. And right there, her tears won. Across the room, Nkem stood watching, arms folded, her heart pounding in disbelief. The sight made her chest burn. When Luther joined her in the room later, she could no longer hold it in. So, that's it, she asked, her voice trembling. After everything she's done to me, you still can't face her and tell her the truth. She insults me, Luther, curses me for no reason, humiliates me, prays for me to die. And all unprovoked. What did I ever do to her? And you are hugging her, like she's the victim. Lotta, where do I fit into all this? Nkem, please calm down, he said softly. Don't tell me to calm down, she shouted, tears of anger spilling from her eyes. You said she would stay 1 week. 1 week. And now you're hugging her, begging her to stop crying, instead of telling her to leave. Lotta, you chose her fake tears over my pain. What about me? I am your wife, Lotta. This was not the love you promised me. You promised to protect me. Nkem? Nkem, Lotta said, his voice rising now. She is still my mother. She suffered for me and I can't hurt her. She wants me to choose between you and her. She wants me to disrespect my own mother. Nkem gasped, staring at him in disbelief. Wow. So, I'm the outsider now. Is that what you're saying? I didn't say that. You didn't have to, she snapped. Because your silence and inability to face her already said it for you. The room fell into heavy silence, thick enough to cut with a knife. And just like that, the verdict was sealed. Lotta stood there helplessly, torn between the two women he loved. And in that silence, Onoja's victory echoed louder than her prayers. Because from that night onward, Mama Onoja continued to stay and trouble doubled. Days passed, but peace still refused to return to that house. Nkemdili stopped talking to her husband completely. She wasn't just angry. She was hurt, disappointed and tired all at once. The girl who once laughed like morning bells now sat in silence, staring at walls that echoed nothing but her sighs. But besties, you needed to see Onoja. She was shining like a full moon after rain. She had taken over the house completely, moving about as though the roof, the walls and even the floor belonged to her. If she refuses to take care of my son, I will do it myself, she declared proudly. After all, I've been doing it since the day I pushed him into this world. Every morning, she would tie her wrapper tight, swing her bag and march off to the market with the authority of a queen inspecting her kingdom. And when she returned, her voice would scatter the peace of the whole compound. See, I bought fish, and I'm sure it's for half the price she buys hers. You people don't know anything. If it's that your Akara wife, she would go and waste money anyhow. I pity my son. He married an expensive, poor mistake. That's how she brags every single day, measuring her pride in words and her victory in noise. But Lotta, poor Lotta. The joy in his eyes had dimmed. The laughter in his home had gone missing. He missed his wife. Her soft giggles, her teasing jokes, her voice that once made the house feel like paradise. So one afternoon, he decided to apologize the way men in love do, with a surprise too big for anger to survive. He bought a brand new car for his wife, Nkem. The moment Onoja saw that car, she screamed like someone who had just seen a ghost, holding a frying pan. Amadio, my father! You bought her a car, she shouted, staggering backward. Lotta smiled softly. Yes, Mama, she's my wife, and I have the money. She deserves the joy and comfort. Comfort? Onoja's voice rose like thunder. Comfort? Bah, something is wrong. She has used juju. She has tied your head with Akara oil. I said it. I said it. Before anyone could blink, the woman threw herself on the floor, rolling and wailing like a prophetess in vision. I will drink rat poison. I swear I will die today. You bought that thing a car. Hey, my son is a finished man. My son is a finished man, oh. Lotta ran to her side, panicking. Mama, please get up. Nobody has done anything to me. But Onoja cried louder. You are no longer my son. You are not the man I raised. You have allowed that girl from the gutters to control you. You want me to die before my time? God, take my life. Don't waste time again. Take my life. I can't bear to see this. Lotta knelt beside her, defeated. Mama, I think it's high time you return to the village, since you don't want me and my wife to live in peace. She paused immediately, looked up from her tears and nodded gently. Yes, I will go tomorrow. I am done. She stood up, dusted her wrapper and walked inside, her heart filled with sorrow. Lotta exhaled. Finally, he thought, peace will return. But besties, you can't expect peace to return when trouble is still renting a room in your house. The next morning, as they prepared her bags for the journey back to the village, Onoja suddenly clutched her chest and screamed, "Ah! My heart! My heart! My heart is failing me! My heart is failing me!" Lotta rushed to her. "Mama, what's wrong?" "I don't know. My heart, it's beating too fast. Place your hand and feel it. Call the doctor. I can't travel like this. I might die on the road. I don't want to die," she mourned weakly, falling back into a chair. Worried sick, Lotta called the doctor and cancelled her trip immediately. But besties, the moment he stepped out for work, the miracle happened. Onoja jumped from the chair, strong and agile, like a woman half her age. She started dancing around the sitting room, waving her scarf, singing praises in a loud voice. The witch has failed. She thinks she's winning, Mbani, glory be to God. I will stay and safeguard my son's destiny with my own hands. From the kitchen doorway, Nkemdilim almost fainted. She didn't know whether to laugh, to cry, or call the village elders. But one thing was certain, this war was not ending anytime soon. And so the house became a battlefield. Every pot stirred with insult, every plate carried gossip, and even the air in the house was heavy with silent war. Nkemdilim's laughter, the same laughter that once filled the home like morning bird song, disappeared completely. She moved around like a shadow, quiet, tired and weighed down. And Lotta, he just stood behind, helpless, torn between the two women he loved most. Nkem couldn't go home. No, she couldn't. If she returned, the villagers would mock her. Her mother would be heartbroken. How would she explain that her marriage, the one that brought joy to the whole of Odu, had become a story of pain? She couldn't bring that shame upon her family, so she stayed. She endured. She cried in silence. But far away in Odu village, something was stirring. One midnight, Mama Nkem woke up suddenly, her heart pounding. She had seen a strange dream for the second time. In the dream, her daughter Nkem was crying, her voice echoing, "Mama, please help me." What could be wrong, she muttered, sitting up on her mat. She tried to shake it off, but her heart refused to rest. She reached for her phone with trembling hands and dialed Nkem's number. When Nkem picked up, Mama Nkem heard it, the soft sound of sobbing. Her heart broke instantly. "Nkem, my daughter, are you okay?" Nkem, talk to me. What is going on?" she asked quickly, her voice trembling. "Is Lotta hitting you? Is he maltreating you? Hey, Atokwanum, I am finished. Talk to me." Through tears, Nkem whispered, "No, Mama, he's not hitting me, but I'm not okay. It's his mother, Onoja. She's making life miserable for me. And Lotta, he's not doing anything." There was silence. Then a loud "Onojakwa" exploded from the other end of the line. "That mad woman," Mama Nkem shouted. "Has she forgotten that you have a strong mother and that I am still alive? Did she not ask questions before she made you cry, eh? How long has this been going on?" Nkem sniffed. 5 months, Mama." "Chineke!" Mama Nkem screamed, jumping up from the mat. 5 months, Nkem. For 5 months, that woman has been torturing you. Why didn't you tell me? I've been calling you and you always tell me everything is fine. Hey! No problem. So Onoja wants trouble, Abi? She will see madness. Tell her I am coming. Tell that woman to start packing because she has entered the wrong van. She thinks she's mad. I will show her the PhD version." Before Nkem could say another word, click, Mama Nkem had already ended the call. She stood in the middle of her small room, breathing hard, her eyes blazing like hot charcoal. Onoja wants to try me, she hissed, tying her wrapper tighter. Ah! She has touched the lion's tail. My precious Nkem, my daughter, we shall see who leaves that house standing. Before Dawn even stretched her hands across the sky, Mama Nkem had already packed her bag. There was no frying akara today. She didn't tell anyone. She didn't eat. There was only one mission in her heart: warfare. By 6 a.m., she was in the bus heading to the city, muttering under her breath. Onoja thinks she has seen trouble. She will meet me today. I will remind her that madness runs in her blood. In case she didn't know, my grandmother died making trouble. The other passengers just looked at her quietly. One man even shifted away slightly. Who wants to sit beside a woman on a divine mission of vengeance? When she finally arrived at Luther's gate in the evening, she didn't knock. She banged at the gate, shouting at the top of her voice. "Open this door before I scatter it," she shouted, her wrapper flying in one direction and her handbag in another. Inside, Nkem almost dropped the broom she was holding. "Mama is here," she gasped. Onoja turned sharply, her face tightening like overcooked okra. Who's shouting like that at this late hour like a mad dog? Before Nkem could answer, the door flew open. Mama Nkem entered like thunder, dressed in wrapper and righteous anger. "Ah! So this is where she is," she barked, her eyes scanning the sitting room. "Onoja, the great destroyer, tormentor of daughter-in-law." Onoja's mouth fell open. "Who is this bush woman shouting in my son's house?" "Bush woman," Mama Nkem repeated, tying her wrapper tighter. "Good. Now you've seen a real one. The bush that burns with fire and doesn't go out. I will consume you, Onoja." Ah, Luther shouted, running into the room. "Mama Nkem, what are you doing here?" "What I am doing," she snapped. "Ask your mother what she's doing here for 5 months. I sent my daughter to you as a wife, not a housemaid or punching bag. So tell me, Luther, are you a man or a broom?" "Mama, please. Don't, Mama, please me," she cut in sharply. "When I was frying akara in the market, I didn't know I was training my daughter to come and serve the queen of trouble herself. Since you can't send her back home, I came myself. Onoja, you must leave this house. Walking or flying, you will choose one." Onoja gasped, hands on her chest. "Luther, you are just standing there while this woman insults me in your presence. You see, this is what happens when you marry from the gutters. See how they behave, so uncouth like animals." "From the gutter," Mama Nkem shouted. "Look at who is talking. You are a fool, Onoja. You are a witch. You came to the city to fry my daughter's peace, eh? But you've met your match. I will make sure you run out of this house with your slippers in your hands. Over my dead body will I leave this house," Onoja screamed. "Where your dead body, eh?" Mama Nkem clapped her hands 3 times. "Then start dying small, because you must move." "Stop it! Both of you, stop it!" Luther cried, running between them. "Mama Nkem, please. Mama, please." "Luther," Mama Nkem said, her voice calm but deadly, "if you call me Mama one more time, I will throw this wrapper on the floor and show you the kind of drama you've never seen in your life." Nkem stood by the wall, tears in her eyes, but also a tiny smile on her lips. For the first time in months, she wasn't alone. Her mother had arrived. And peace may not have come, but justice had entered the house. Finally, after hours of shouting and storming, the house grew quiet again. Everyone retired to their rooms, pretending to rest. But in that kind of silence, even the walls were still trembling from the earlier drama. By midnight, the moon had gone high, and by 2 a.m., all hell broke loose. It started with a loud, ear-piercing voice that tore through the house like thunder. "Holy Ghost! Fire! Every witch in this house begin to burn. Every demon standing on my son's destiny fall down and die." The voice was so loud that even the electric bulbs flickered in fear. Mama Nkem whispered, jolting up from her bed. Mama Nkem, who had just started snoring softly, jumped up. "Who is that shouting? Has war started?" "That's her," Nkem sighed, rubbing her eyes. "That's how she prays every night." Mama Nkem blinked in disbelief. "Pray? Is that thing prayer? This woman is just mad. She's the general overseer of madness. Okay, since she wants to be crazy, let's be crazy together. Before Nkem could stop her, Mama Nkem tied her wrapper tight like a warrior, opened the door and burst into the corridor. Holy Ghost! Fire! She shouted with a voice that could scatter clouds. Every witch that has refused to let me sleep in this house, fall down and die by fire. Blood of Jesus, screamed Onoja from the other side of the house. What kind of nonsense is this? Who is countering my prayer? Me, shouted Mama Nkem, the mother of the so-called witch you are chasing. You said you are praying. Let's pray together. Holy Ghost fire on top of Holy Ghost fire. Let the witches that disturb married women burn to ashes. Back to sender, Onoja bellowed, jumping from her mat. Every mother that is supporting evil, catch fire. Fire you there, replied Mama Nkem. Market's voice, not a fear microphone. I will shout it out of this house today. Pesties. That night was pure chaos. Both women were screaming, clapping, stamping their feet and spraying imaginary anointing oil in the air. Mama Nkem's voice, sharpened from years of shouting buy hot akara in Odo Market, was 10 times louder than Onoja's. The walls shook, the windows trembled. Even the gecko on the wall ran for its life. Lotta sat up in bed holding his head. God, what have I done to deserve this? He muttered. Every demon, every witch, every evil mother-in-law, every useless market woman. The war continued until suddenly, silence. Onoja, panting and sweating, finally gave up and ran into her room, slamming the door. From the corridor, Mama Nkem shouted triumphantly, Witch, you should have continued now. Why did you stop? Are you afraid of competition, eh? You've met your match. You think I'm Nkem? Come out, let's continue. And that was how the midnight prayers ended. When morning finally came, the entire compound looked like it had survived an earthquake. Neighbors peeked from their windows across the streets, whispering and crossing themselves, as if ghosts had danced all night. One woman from the next door shook her head. Did you hear it too? She asked her husband. Ah, hear it. Nobody in this street slept. I thought it was a crusade until I heard 2 voices shouting, Witch, market woman, fire you there, back and forth. By 7 a.m., the whole neighborhood already knew. The 2 mothers have fought spiritual battle at Luther's house. Children gathered outside imitating the voices. They chanted, laughed. Even the gate man didn't know whether to laugh or resign. Inside the house was silent, but not peaceful. Lotta sat at the dining table, his face buried in his palms, wondering which prayer to pray first. The prayer of peace or the prayer of escape. Onoja came out first, her scarf tilted to one side, her eyes swollen but full of pride. Some people fought me last night, she muttered, loud enough for everyone to hear. But they failed. I saw it in the spirit, their powers couldn't match mine. Mama Nkem emerged next, fresh and energetic, like someone who had just finished a successful market day. Good morning, everyone, she said sweetly, tying her wrapper tightly. I slept very well after the battle. The devil tried, but the akara fire burned stronger. Onoja hissed so loudly that even the chair beside her vibrated. You call that thing sleep? The witch is sleep. You were shouting like a mad woman. Mad woman. Mama Nkem raised her eyebrow. That means you heard my prayers well. Good. Because the demon troubling this house needed serious deliverance, and I made sure it heard me. Nkem, who had been quietly sweeping the living room, coughed into her broom to hide a laugh. Lotta slammed the table. Enough, please. Both of you. The neighbors are already talking. I can't take this anymore. Mama Nkem looked at him with calm eyes. Then choose peace, my son. Send her home. Onoja gasped. You want to send me home after all my prayers? I will not go. If I leave, the witches will finish my son. I saw it last night. Someone was trying to finish him. Mama Nkem clapped her hands. Ah, she's lying. The only thing pressing your son is your wahala. If you like, keep seeing visions. The next one will be me pressing you. Lotta jumped up shouting, please. No more pressing, no more dreams. I just want peace. The 2 mothers turned away, hissing in perfect harmony, like twin snakes with different hairstyles. But the battle was not over yet. The sun was smiling outside, but inside the house, tension hung like thick smoke. Lotta had gone to work. Peace had also gone with him. In the kitchen, Nkem was quietly cooking, humming a soft tune, as the stew bubbled gently on the fire. Then came that voice that could serve milk. "So, you are cooking again, eh?" Onoja said, stepping in with her arms folded. Her eyes swept across the kitchen like a hawk. The same woman that can finish a full cow in one pot of soup. Shameless woman. Who knows how many pieces of meat she has in there today? Nkem sighed. She was too tired to talk. But Onoja was just getting started. She never tired of trouble. "I just feel sorry for my son," she hissed. "He must have been blinded by a strong spell to marry a woman like you. So lazy, so wasteful. You think it's all about having a fine face. Look at you. You finished all the money in his pocket. God will judge you. God will judge you and your mother. You and that your useless mother." She pushed past Nkem and went straight to the pot, lifting the lid like an investigator about to solve a national crime. She muttered, counting with her spoon. 1, 3, 4, 10, 15, 20. Hey! 20 pieces of meat. 20 big pieces of meat in one small pot of stew. You won't kill my son. You won't finish him and send him back to the village to continue selling akara with you. I know that is your plan. Nkem clenched her fist, fighting tears. "Mama, please, just stop. You don't have to shut up. You don't talk when I'm talking. Do you hear me, you village witch?" And then, "Hello!" A loud shout echoed from the doorway. Onoja turned sharply and there stood Mama Nkem, her wrapper tied tightly around her chest, her eyes blazing like fresh pepper in hot oil. "So it's true," she shouted, stepping into the kitchen. "What are you doing in my daughter's pot of soup? This is what you've been doing all this while. You insult her, you curse her, you count the meat in her pot like a market thief. You are evil, Onoja. The whole village will hear of this. In fact, the whole kingdom will hear of this." Onoja's mouth fell open. "Who invited you here, bushwoman?" Hey. Mama Nkem's laughter was short and dangerous. "Bushwoman, you don't know me, Onoja. You picked the wrong tree to climb. Enough is enough. Except I am dead, I won't allow any evil mother-in-law bully my daughter." Nkem tried to step in, her voice trembling. "Mama, please don't," but it was too late. Mama Nkem clapped her hands 3 times, lifted her chin and began to spit fire. "If you ever try this again, the thunder that will fire you is still doing press up. Why can't my daughter have peace, Onoja? You are a witch. Do you want to marry your son? Do you have feelings for your son? Return to your house, Onoja. Oh, Onoja, witch, return to your house. God will punish you. You won't escape it. How dare you? How dare you insult me in my son's house?" Onoja screamed. "You are a mad woman, Mama Nkem. Madness recognizes madness." Mama Nkem shot back. "Since you want madness, let's be mad together." Onoja dropped the spoon. "You think I fear you? Fear me?" Mama Nkem laughed. "You are just a noisy rapper. I will beat you blue and black like a small child. Anything you want, you will get double." And that was it. 1 minute they were talking. The next, rappers and blues were flying, hair ties loosening, and the kitchen became a wrestling arena. The pots rattled, the spoons flew, and the stew cried for help. Mama Nkem grabbed Onoja by her scarf and shook her like a stubborn goat. "You call my daughter witch, eh? I will show you what witches can do." She was stronger and she really beat Onoja that day until she began to see stars. "Somebody help me! She's killing me!" Onoja screamed, but no one moved, not even Nkem. She stood there staring at her mother. Finally, she had fought the war she had been praying to end. The fight went on. Mama Nkem pushed Onoja to the ground and was punching her senseless until Onoja's voice cracked like a broken radio. When Mama Nkem finally let go, Onoja stumbled, her wrapper half loose, her pride in pieces. If you see the speed at which she ran into her room and shut the door in, she remained locked in her room and house finally knew peace. By sunrise the next day, her bags were packed neatly beside the door. Lotta came out rubbing his eyes. "Mama, are you leaving?" Onoja's voice trembled. I can't stay an extra day, she said, holding her side. My joints are aching me. Not when that witch is here, that woman. She almost killed me. I can't stay. But Mama, I'm not asking you to leave, Lotta pleaded. Don't beg me, she shouted, wiping imaginary tears. The demons in this house are too much, and they want to end my life. I'm going back to the village. There, I will find peace and live my life quietly before they bury me alive. And that was how Onoja finally left, dragging her 2 Ghana must-go bags, muttering curses and limping like a wounded rooster. Lotta watched, half relieved. Finally, someone had done what he couldn't do. Mama Nkem stood by the window, arms folded, watching her go. Go well, she said softly. Next time, when you see akara oil, respect it. Nkem turned to her mother, tears and laughter mixed on her face. Mama, you did this for me. Mama Nkem smiled. I am still alive. Yes, my daughter, I will even do more. The war is over. Now, you can go to your kitchen, cook and fry your meat in peace. But we just have one more thing to do. The next morning, a strange calm rested on the house. It was the calm that comes when storms have said their last word. Mama Nkem had packed her bags. Her daughter's things were ready too. The house that once echoed with quarrels now smelled of cooked silence. When Lotta came out and saw the luggage by the door, his heart began to race. Nkem, he said quietly, are you leaving me? Where are you going? Nkem didn't answer. She only looked at him with eyes that had cried too long. Mama, please, Lotta said softly, tell me she's not living with you. But Mama Nkem sighed and shook her head. Lotta, when you came to marry my daughter, I thought you were a man, not a boy hiding behind his mother's wrapper. You allowed that woman to press my child's neck for months. Mbana, I won't stand and watch her die slowly under your silence. We are going back to Odu, back to frying our akara and living in peace. Mama, please. Lotta dropped to his knees. I am begging you, please don't take her away from me. You know I love her. Love? Mama Nkem scoffed. Love is not grammar. It is action. And the only action I've seen is tears on my daughter's face. He turned to Nkem, his eyes wet. Nkem, you know me. Please don't go. I will change. I promise. Nkem's voice trembled. Love is not by mouth, Lotta. If you can't protect me from the vultures in your family, then you don't deserve my heart. He stretched his hands helplessly. Please, I am sorry. But Mama Nkem pulled her daughter close. You need to learn how to be a man, she said. And with that, they left. When the door shut, Lotta sank to the floor, sobbing like rain on dry earth. He realized he had lost everything, not because he didn't love her, but because he didn't know how to fight for her. For days, Lotta wandered around the house like a ghost. The silence mocked him. Every corner smelled of memory. He couldn't eat. He couldn't sleep. His phone was full of her pictures, and each one he scrolled through burned like pepper in his chest. He knew where she was, back in Odu with her mother. And one evening, he stood up suddenly and said, Enough. Even if I must beg before the entire village, I will do it. I need to bring my wife back. When he arrived in Odu, the village went wild with gossip. Ah, is that not Nkem's husband? The city man, they whispered. He came back with fine shoes and sad face. But Lotta didn't care. He drove straight to Mama Nkem's compound, carrying gifts and guilt. Nkem, Mama, he called. The door opened. Mama Nkem appeared, holding a pestle like a sword. And who are you? Why are you shouting my name like an untrained goat? She barked. Then she saw him kneeling, dusty and tearing. Ah, weak man, what are you doing here? Mama, please, he said. I'm sorry. I have come to apologize. Apologize? She raised an eyebrow. If you don't move from there, I will use this pestle to remind you how real apologies sound. At the count of 3. 1. Mama, please, I beg you, he cried. I love your daughter so much. I miss her. I can't live without her. But Mama came hissed and chased him with a pestle. You say love. May thunder strike that your mouth for 7 days. And no fear. Go back to your mother, the one who owns your backbone. I don't want to see you in my compound again. Lotta, seeing this was no joke, fled with speed to his car and shut the door. Mama Nkem was still coming at him with fury, and he drove out quickly. But he was not giving up. The next day he came again, and this time she came out with a bowl of hot water as if she had been waiting for him. I told you to leave me and my daughter alone. When you had her, what were you doing with her? If you dare come close to my hut, I will roast you with hot water. Then she chased him with the water. Lotta fled for his life again. Still, he refused to give up. Every day he came kneeling at the front of the hut, begging with a trembling voice. But Nkem would only walk past him, silent. Her heart softened, but her pride stood guard. Back in the house, at the other end of the village, Onaja was restless. Since Nkem left her son, peace had also left her compound. The nights were cold, her conscience grew heavy as she watched how helpless her son looked. She would sit outside in the evening, staring at the moon. Ah, God, she sighed. What have I done? I just wanted to protect him and not destroy him. One night, as she watched Lotta slumped under the tree in her compound, looking so miserable, her eyes filled with tears. She had never seen him this way before. For days, he had refused to eat, drink, or even speak to her. He's my only child, she whispered to herself, and I had turned his joy into sorrow. The next day she made her decision. That afternoon, the old market was noisy and bright. Women shouted prices, children ran about, and the smell of fried akara danced in the air. In one corner, Mama Nkem and her daughter were frying akara as usual. Then suddenly, a voice rose above the crowd. Nkem! Everyone turned. There was Lotta, dusty, sweaty, carrying 2 large baskets filled with gifts and a trembling heart. He walked straight to her stall and fell on his knees. Nkem, please, he said, his voice breaking, forgive me. I've been dying slowly without you. I know I failed you as your husband, but please, I have learned my lesson. I promise to love you, to protect you, and never let anyone come between us again. Not even my mother, please. Give me another chance. The market went silent. Then a familiar voice came from behind. Please forgive him, my daughter. It was Onoja. The whole market gasped. Is this not Madame Onoja? One woman whispered. She left her pride in her village shrine. Onoja walked closer, her eyes red with tears. Nkem, please forgive my son. Forgive me too. I was foolish and proud. I hurt you. I hurt my own son. Please, don't let my evil heart destroy your happiness. I will never come between you two again. Everything was my fault. The market women dropped their baskets and began pleading. Please, Nkem. Please forgive him, they chanted. Be cool. Nkem turned to her mother. Mama. Mama Nkem folded her arms, pretending to think. Then she smiled. My daughter, sometimes even stones learn to melt. He looks truly sorry. Let's love win. Tears filled Nkem's eyes. She ran straight into Lotta's arms. I forgive you, she whispered, crying. Lotta hugged her tightly. Thank you so much. I love you, Nkem. I will never let you go again. Onoja wiped her tears and smiled. God bless you both. May peace follow you home. The market erupted in cheers. Chai, see love, oh, one woman shouted. Days later, Nkem returned to the city with her husband. The house that once echoed with quarrels now glowed with laughter. Every evening, as the stew simmered, Lotta would hold her waist and whisper, I will never let anyone count our meat again. And she would burst into laughter, swatting his hand away. And far away in Odu, Mama Nkem's akara stall became more famous than ever. And whenever customers asked the secret of her joy, she would smile and say, when love returns home, even the oil fries sweeter. Hey besties, we've come to the end of this amazing story and I hope you enjoyed it. I would love you to share your thoughts in the comment section. And if you enjoy our stories and you are yet to subscribe to this channel, please do not skip this video without hitting on the subscribe button and turn on your notification bell so that you get notified whenever we post new stories. Thank you so much for all your love and support. They mean so much to me. Right now, I have to go and see you in our next story.